Q&A with one of the most in-demand actors of his generation, Jakub Gierszał, who you've just seen in Doppelganger sub after. So why don't we have another warm round of applause for Jakub. Thank you so much for having me. So once again, a very warm welcome to Kinopolis, the Polish Film Festival, and welcome to this Q&A with Jakub after Doppelganger. We are going to have around, I would say, 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to kick it off with a couple of questions for Jakub, but of course there'll be plenty of time for all of you people eager to ask him questions about the movie and about his character in the movie as well. So, without further ado, Jakub, tell us a little bit about what intrigued you in Hans and what kind of made you get involved with Doppelganger.
So yes, hello again, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it was an interesting flight this morning from Warsaw to Dublin. So it's Jan Holubek, the director of this film. He's kind of, for many of you probably maybe don't know him, I don't know, but he's kind of on a good path in his career, a good wave, as you would say in Polish. And he's doing project after project, and with more and more interest and success. And he came up to me and invited me to audition for this film. So I went for this audition. I read the script, and the first versions of the script were very interesting because this film is based on a true story that really happened in Poland and actually in Germany, in Bremen. Where this character, I mean the real guy, went and worked, just as we saw in the film. But of course many of the other themes, like the romantic theme and some other things, are made up for the sake of the movie. And I thought this is a really interesting story for, this could make a good film. And we started working on the script together. I remember at my house it was really hot, and it was in the summer, and I got to know the character and the story, and we worked on it, and this is how I kind of got involved, because when I read, I think, the first article about this guy, I thought, wow, that's an incredible story for a film.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting also because there are not that many Polish spy thrillers out there, right? So for me, it was interesting to watch a Polish movie that is not only so well done in terms of the genre of it, but also, we don't have that many characters in the Polish cinema that are like the character of Hans. Was it something that you were aware of as well when you decided to get involved in this project?
Yes, I mean the film is, as you could see, there's not much going on actually. I mean, in terms of a genre movie. I mean, there's no car chases, there's no shootings, there's no action, and I thought that's interesting. Maybe it would be interesting to
mix.
To do this mix of genres and to try to keep the audience involved in a story where not really a lot is happening, and for me as an actor, it was kind of interesting to see if I could, invite, let's say, the audience to understand him a little bit, although he's doing things that we would, not approve of, or that are morally not so, how would you say, morally...
well, they may be morally reprehensible.
Reprehensible, thank you. And I thought that's how can you play a character that's keeping this mask, let's say, all the time on, playing with my partners in the scenes and the other characters, but at the same time that we all the time have this kind of connection and have this dostęp do niego, like the what I mean, I guess there's many Polish people here.
Yeah.
So maybe someone can access to the character. This emotional access, so we can understand him. Although he's acting all the time, so it was like a know?
Well, this gives us a great segue to my next question, because my next question was about exploring identity, because I think, as an actor you were able to explore the identity of Hans as a spy, of somebody who's pretending that he's not who he is. But also I think the movie explores a little bit the question of what makes us us.
Yes.
What decides, or what characteristics, or what moments in our lives, or who we are is ... So how did you approach that?
So actually, this was a kind of a real life story. I mean, I took it from the real guy. I saw a documentary about him, where he was on this mission in Bremen actually for a couple of years, and then his cover got blown. Right, that's how you say it. And because the real Jan Bittner, played by Thomas Schuchart, wanted to meet his mother, because he found out that he's adopted, and but his mail wouldn't go through to Germany because it was caught on the border, right? So he met a couple in Gdańsk actually from Germany that were on vacation, and he asked them if they could maybe get the letter to his mother in Germany, and that's how the German authorities found out that there's something going on, because that there's a guy probably pretending to be this guy, and that's how the cover got blown, and he got really exchanged on this bridge of spies against 3 other spies, because he was pretty valuable, or his work was. And he went back to Poland, and in Poland he got like this whole committee of the prime minister,
like a hero's welcome.
Like a hero's welcome, where they gave him flowers and a speech, and he was there, and his parents were there, and the parents were really proud of him, and he was proud that the parents were proud of him, and I could understand that, like, from those images, that he's behaving like this child that needs this kind of approval, of being the best, being the achiever, of trying to earn this kind of love and attention that he couldn't get otherwise. Of course, all brainwashed by the system, right? So I thought that this is as often it happens that people that don't kind of have this spine, from, let's say, from home, it has actually really a lot to do with emotions, and the things that we get in childhood. I mean, and that can create this kind of character that doesn't really know who he is, because again, in this documentary, there was this guy that lived in Bremen. He was like a friend of the family, and there was an interview with him, and he was saying that we spent years together at dinner parties and Christmas parties, and we had drinks together, and we got drunk together, and he cried on my shoulders because he told me about his life and how he's feeling, and I just, as I found out that he really was a spy, I just really want to understand if those conversations, if this friendship was true or not, because for him it was really true, and it turns out like it had to be true, you know what I mean? This friendship, in a way, and in another way, it was not.
That's quite interesting, actually, when we explore acting and finding truth in acting and finding truth in scenes or finding truth in relationship that you have with other characters in the movie, because there are so many layers there in terms of finding the emotions that you wanted to convey to us as viewers, and then keeping that mask on, and also where is the truth in the scene, or where is the truth in the emotions of the characters, and so on. So it must have been a very interesting challenge for an actor to get this part.
Actually, that was what I was trying to say. That was, for me, it was a challenging and interesting how I can maybe kind of do this multitasking thing throughout the whole movie. And because I was shooting another movie at the same time, so
wow,
it was
were
like,
you really?
It was, yeah. So it was. I felt a bit like I'm having this schizophrenia, like this character, and it was actually very uczące.
Yeah, it was a learning experience or a teaching experience.
But I'm not going to do this ever again.
Okay.
Two films at the same
well, but it's
time.
a great exercise for an actor, I guess, right?
It is true. I do believe that you have to exercise a lot as an actor, and I do believe that you have to throw yourself into all kinds of different challenges, and this is what I kind of did, maybe also to help myself with this character. But also, you know, it's also an actor's life that sometimes you get one or, you know, 2 or 3 movies at the same time, and sometimes you don't get a job for a couple of months. So this is, you know, how it goes.
And I also read somewhere or heard you in an interview that you mentioned that, you know, we all act or we all pretend in our lives, and we all wear different masks all the time. So in a way, perhaps you will be able to use some of those exercises that you got from the movie in real life as well.
Well, it's not something that I've come up with. It's you know, it's a thing that. But I think it's really true. It's a quote that, you know, we lie every day to pretend and to protect, you know, to protect ourselves or to protect the ones we love, you know, and that's what we just do. And it's okay. I mean, I don't mean that as like a dooming thing. It's just like, well, that's how we interact every day. You know, we have to lie to our closest people. We have to lie at work. We have to lie all the time. And yeah, what we try to do is try to understand how to do it and get paid for it.
Yeah, and I guess also find the truth. Before we've gone quite deep into the emotional territory of the movie, let's reverse back a little bit to a little bit more superficial parts of it. How do you react when people say, or if I asked you, have you received a call from Barbara Broccoli and are you going to be the first Polish James Bond? Do you get that question often? Well, it's mentioned in the movie, so it's like, don't shoot me.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Yeah, of course I would do it. Of course I grew up watching Sean Connery as James Bond, and no, of course I would do it. It's an absurd question, but I love it. Yes, I would do it, definitely. Is she here?
Well, we're working on it. Another question I've been intrigued in and intrigued by, and I presume some Polish people here might be bilingual already, and you know, we live through different languages, and I believe that you are bilingual as well. So let's talk a little bit about languages and you know, acting in different languages. So you speak 2 languages perfectly well, German and Polish. You also spoke French in the movie. How was that experience, and how's that experience both as an actor but also as a person? Does it change you when you speak German?
Yes, definitely. I was in a movie a couple of years ago where there was this line where I also played a guy that is bilingual, a young lawyer that went to Germany and tried to be as German as possible to also, you know, mix into the culture and you know, not give himself away that he's, you know, an immigrant. And there was this one line where his German boss, tells him, you know, when you speak German, when you speak Polish, because he only knew speaking German, when you speak Polish, you seem like a totally different person. And it's true, and I try to understand this, how that works, and I'm not sure, but I think it has also to do, again, with emotions, and that actually, you know, we use language as a way to communicate with people about our feelings and to make bonds with people, and this is how we kind of create this language, if you know what I mean, or our relationship to the language. I was brought up partly in Germany. I lived there since I was like 2-3 months old, and until I was 11 years old, and this is how basic German was actually my first language. And then I was speaking Polish at home, but I couldn't really read and I couldn't really understand everything, so I had to relearn the language later on. And to me, it's kind of been with me all my life, so I don't know how it works. You know, I'm still, until today, I'm really surprised by what is happening. I started speaking German and it's just there, you know. But I don't know how it works really. But the again, I know I'm speaking about emotions a lot, but I think that this is acting is about emotions, you know, and the words and the language is super important, but that's not really what we're looking at when we're looking at actors. So I think that you can actually get away with, you know, with not even when you don't speak French.
When you find the emotional truth of the scene or the character,
to kind of build the arc and kind of, you know, yeah.
Thank you. Now let's throw it to the audience and let's hear your questions. So we've got a first question there.
Were there any scenes cut or any elements of the script which didn't make it to the final cut of the film?
Yes, definitely. There was at the beginning of the film, we see him when he's working as a professor, and this was the first scene of the movie, where he's actually working with students, and he's quoting Kafka, and he's quoting Kafka about his relationship with his father, and this is how it all starts. And then he sees his professor that is later on referred to as being arrested, and when he's saying like, "Oh, I'm glad that he got arrested," there was actually a scene with this guy, and we saw also the relationship between those people. And then we see the whole train ride to Poland, because there was this whole thing to Germany. I mean, to Strasbourg. There was this whole thing that this professor gave him documents, because the build-up was that we were supposed to think that he's doing work, but for the other side, let's say. So he's trying to work for the
Solidarność or resistance.
Yeah, it was before Solidarność, but for the resistance, and this was the build-up. And then when you get to Strasbourg, there was a scene where he goes to buy his first jeans or clothes with the family, and there then comes the spy lady and tells him, give me the documents. And then we like unveiled the story in a bit different way. This is how it actually was in the script, and the ending was also a bit different.
So was that changed in the edit, or?
It was changed in the edit. I know as a fact that there's, you probably won't see it, but there's going to be like four episodes of a series, like a mini-series. Every episode will have like 1 hour, and all those scenes and all those things are going to be in those episodes.
Cool. That sounds really, and that probably is going to be on one of the streamers or on TVN, is it?
Probably,
yeah.
Yes.
Anybody else? Yes, we've got a question there. If you don't mind waiting for the microphone there, it'd be great. Thanks.
So I actually have a question. Is there how many Polish people are here today? Is it a lot? Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You spoke of system expectations or being shaped by a system, such as family expectations and societal expectations.
Yeah.
In your own life, how did you navigate a way through that, so that it's coming from you rather than an expectation or system?
Yeah, thank you. I think that this is the thing for me. Coming back also to your question, that was the thing that got me interested in the film. I thought that maybe the one universal thing that we could understand from this character, maybe not from the movie, but from the character, is this thing that we're all kind of trapped in a way from those expectations, and we're there's a kind of fatum, over this character, and maybe that's something that I could tell through this character, or talk about, that we can, that sometimes it feels like you don't have a way out, or we can see this guy that has this fatum, and we can understand, wow, oh my God, I would never want to live like that, And me personally, I was lucky enough that I had supportive parents, and my father, who always told me, we try to stay true to yourself, try to not go with the mass, let's say, the mainstream, not mass, but make up your mind and do whatever you think it's right. And I think he gave me a lot of strength in that, and I didn't have really this problem that I had to become a lawyer, or whatever expectations you might have. But at the same way, he's an actor, and I went to study acting, so maybe there's something that I'm not aware of that I'm doing that that's keeping me trapped as well.
The unconscious is hard at work, as it always is.
Yeah, so this is too difficult for me to.
We've got time for one more question, so.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the moment where you how the figure said, "Don't do it," meaning that don't kill Jan Bittner. And I thought that was a very interesting intonation. And could you tell us where that came from? Like from deep down, was the idea, well, I'm going to lose something, or it was a very interesting moment. I wonder if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt, you know, that there must be this hunger and this longing for, in this person, in this guy, that he wants to get to know this other guy, and he wants to kind of grasp maybe his identity in a way, you know, and also that's how we see a bit that he's a bit physically podobny do niego.
He's alike, physically alike.
Physically alike, and it's you know, when he sees him the first time or the only time with his family and all of that, I just thought, you know, that he really wanted to protect him in a way, you know, like the only thing that he could maybe do right in his life, you know, on this mission, and this is basically where it comes from. I think, you know, the only right choice maybe that he could do, fighting maybe not for himself but for someone else, because he was unable to fight for himself, or this is how I see it.
Jakub, thank you so much for bringing this very complex and very interesting character to our screens, and also for speaking so interestingly about it and about the process and about bringing those emotions and that truthfulness to the character and also to your life. So thank you so much for sharing so generously with us, and thank you all for your questions.
Yes, thank you for coming and seeing the film. Thank you for having me.
And you will be able to see Jakub again on our screens tomorrow.
Yes,
because
thank you for mentioning that. Actually, I wanted to invite you all, if you want, or your friends, or you and your friends, and your family, and people that you know, and people that you know that might want to see the film in the future.
100%. So basically everyone you know.
And that's, I'm talking about that way, because the film that is going to screen tomorrow is a much smaller film that doesn't have this kind of you know, spotlight, and this is why I need to talk about it more. So I want to invite you all, of course, for tomorrow at
6:20. 20 past 6.
The film Ultima Thule.
Ultima Thule, and Jakub will be here, and I will be here, and the director of the movie, Klaus Rostowski, will be here as well. And hopefully we'll see all of you, and if not all of you, a lot of you at the screening tomorrow, 20 past 6 of Ultima Thule. But there are other films at the Kinopolis Festival tomorrow as well. So take a look at the website of the IFI and see what else you can catch. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all your questions, and thank you for supporting Kinopolis. And once again, a huge round of applause for Jakub and for everyone involved. Please take care.